In this video, I'll talk about the Xbox and Xbox 360 version of Battlefield 2 Modern Combat. Recently, the PlayStation 2 version was revived. The servers are now online, so it's only natural that Xbox fans would also like their version to come back online. So in this video, I'm just going to talk about the chances of that happening, where we are with it, and just generally my thoughts on the Xbox version. There's going to be people on all ends of the spectrum. Some people are just going to think that, well, because we now have the code for the PS2 version to work, surely we can just go in and edit the code to instead say PS2, just say Xbox, copy and paste, and the servers are online. So obviously things aren't just as simple as that. They never really are with games. I mean, they both look similar, they both look the same, but they're both very different things. So the Xbox version uses a different protocol, entirely different to the PS2. So the PS2 uses GameSpy, but the Xbox version uses Xbox Live and EA Online. The current GameSpy replacement is open source, but the Xbox replacement, the Xbox Live replacement, is called Insignia. It's not open source, so myself and Omega, and I guess everyone else, don't have complete access to the code for Insignia. We did get in contact with the Insignia team before we went live with the PS2 version, but they weren't really too keen to share stuff. They weren't too keen to share the code with us, which is understandable. I mean, we're not really keen to share our server code. So, and again, they cited security reasons, so it's understandable. They don't just want to give out the code to anyone. But we would like to work with them in future and trying to essentially get our server code to speak to them in future. But at this time, we have no real dialogue with them in terms of being able to share code or look at their code or let us show us theirs. But it's kind of more than that. Like, that would really just be the beginning of the conversation. So we haven't even gotten that far yet, like just to even try and get these things to talk to each other. We would need a lot of testing after that. It took us a long time to get the PlayStation 2 version up and running. So again, just because we have the PS2 code working, I believe, and we don't know this because we haven't actually tried it, but I believe that the PS2 code isn't just going to be sufficient enough to run the Xbox and Xbox 360 version. There's going to be some differences and some reverse engineering to get that all to work. And the fact that we have the Insignia team who aren't at this time willing to share their code, I think it's possibly a long way away. It could not be months, it could be years. But that's my gut feeling. I just think this stuff is going to be, there's added difficulty in trying to get this all to work, because really with the PS2 all we had to work with was OpenSpy, or the GameSpy, but OpenSpy being completely open source, so we had no issue testing as much as we wanted. And we actually had the benefit of OpenSpy already being set up by a guy called CHC, who was on our Discord, and he came in and just essentially set up OpenSpy for us, and it was already working whenever we got there. All we had to do was the final piece of the puzzle, which is the server files. On the Xbox, there's more to it than the PS2. Basically, we have to get the Insignia team to open up a bit more and get that part of the thing even working. And as it stands now, that part of it just doesn't actually work. So short answer, I guess, is that it's still a ways away. Like, we're not close at all, unfortunately. Omega's really keen to get the 360 version working. I mean, I am too. I'd love the 360 version too. A couple of thoughts, so I would like to a couple of personal thoughts here. I know there are, I was an Xbox player when I first experience the game. I then moved over to the PS2 just so I could play it. But I would like to point out that essentially, if you're on the fence, like let's say you're an Xbox player right now and you're like, I don't really know if I'll wait for the Xbox version. The first thing to say is you could be waiting for a long time, so please don't hold off in that respect. The second thing I'd like to point out is that I play with, where is it? Like, whenever I'm playing on the PS2 emulator, I'm using my Xbox Series X controller plugged into my PC and emulate it. So, in my opinion, dealing with just purely the original Xbox version here, considering the two versions look almost identical, like if you ran the original Xbox and the PS2 version side by side, you couldn't tell the difference. Like, they look the exact same. It's the same game. If we get that original Xbox version up and running, what you'll be doing, let's say you're emulating it, and that's even to say that, let's say, I should actually point it out at the start of the video. The original Xbox version cannot be played with the emulator right now. We're actually very lucky that the PS2 version can be played with the emulator. So that's another hurdle to overcome, by the way. If anyone's wondering here, you would have to use original hardware to play this. It's just not, you were just not able to emulate the game as it stands on the Xbox. So that's another thing to keep in mind whenever people are thinking about getting the Xbox version working. It can't be emulated, so that's another hurdle to overcome. But let's just imagine we live in a world where it can be emulated and it does work online. Essentially what you'll be doing is booting up your PC, plugging in your Xbox controller, running an emulator and playing the game. There's really no difference between doing that and the PS2 version, other than the buttons being different, but they can be mapped. And I mean, it's not like there's any in-game like telling you to press X or anything. Like, none of that really is an issue. So the point I'm trying to make here is that even if the original Xbox version is working, it's not going to be a massively different experience as to what we're getting right now. I mean, obviously for preservation reasons, I think it's important to try and get all versions working. But the other side of the coin is that if the Xbox version was working, you may actually fracture the community. So you may have half the people who are interested in Modern Combat playing the Xbox version and the other half playing the PS2 version. And some nights that could be literally 5 people playing both versions, and you could just end up with 2 people being unhappy instead of just one group of people being unhappy because they can't play. So yeah, the point I'm trying to get at here is, don't sit on the fence and think, I'll wait for the Xbox version. The PS2 version pretty much is the Xbox version. Just try and overlook the fact that it's running on PS2 hardware. You'll have just as fun, trust me. It's just as good a game on it as it is on the original Xbox. Now the 360 I think is a different case. Graphically it looks a lot better. People are going to be nostalgic for it as well. So I think probably if I had to pick between the Xbox and 360, I'd try and get the 360 version working, just because getting the the original Xbox version working doesn't bring much to the table that we can't already do right now on the PS2. And again, Omega's hugely passionate about trying to get the 360 version working, so fingers crossed on that. Again, personally, I'm not going to hold my breath on that because there are a lot of hurdles to overcome. I don't know if the Xbox emulator, 360 emulator, I think it's called Xenia, I don't know if it'll play Battlefield 2 Modern Combat. Xenia has came a long way recently, but I just haven't actually tested the 360 version. I think someone might have got it working, I can't remember, but yeah, we're a long way. Like, we're so much further away than we were with the PS2, just even in terms of getting the emulator working. So I think that's pretty much all I have to say on the topic. Just thought I'd make this video for anyone curious and wondering. Sorry to shatter some dreams out there if you guys thought that, because the PS2 version was working, that we're weeks away from getting the Xbox version working. I doubt that. I mean, stranger things have happened. I actually didn't even think the PS2 version would ever become playable again. So here's hoping is all I can say. But I really want to emphasize the point that even if we had the server files and the ones that the PS2 ones we're using work, the code that's been written for it, the chances of it working, well, no, let's just say, like, let's say even if we have the code working server side for the Xbox 360 and Xbox original, it can't be emulated, as to my knowledge, just yet. So that's another hurdle. Everyone has to be on original hardware. So, and also it's a more grey area with the 360 because it's a more recent console. So legally, like Xbox, I mean, there are still Xbox servers up. Xbox might get involved and not like us doing that. Look, there's a lot of hurdles to overcome, I think, is the takeaway here. I'd be interested to hear your guys' thoughts. Please do comment below, and there's links to the Discord. Come and chat on the Discord if you're also interested. Thanks for watching, and keep an eye out for the next Battlefield video.